Hi everyone, welcome to my first look at Mighty Number 9, a game that I've been highly excited for. As you can see, it's currently still a work in progress. It's in beta. First thing we're going to take a look at is our system options. You can see in our system options, they're doing a really good job porting this to PC. And it's not porting, but building it on PC because they're going to be releasing it on a bunch of different things. We have all the standard options. Audio is just different volumes. We're going to go to the other screen in a second, and what you're going to see is the most depressing calibration screen ever. This is not going to tell you what any of these buttons do, but each of these buttons on here is related to a specific action. So when you're binding them, it goes, hey, this is what the configuration is, so you're going to use that. You just make sure that all of your buttons match up, which is just kind of no good. Alright, so when we start a new game, this is where we actually get to see what all of the different buttons do. It's right here. The way that I got all of that calibrated is I wrote them all down, and then I drew myself a diagram so that I could map it to the stick that I was playing on. Kind of a pain. You can see we only have the one zone option open. Also, after you calibrate your controller, the calibrations don't take effect until you actually start playing the game, which is what kicked me back to the start menu right there. As I hit what was the accept button before, I got in there, and then the accept button was now the cancel button. Everything's fine once we get here though, okay? So as you can see, this has a lot of gameplay elements that are oddly, and by oddly I mean blatantly reminiscent to Megaman, which is what everybody hoped and expected, right? Okay. The way that this game works though is to kill enemies, you first have to break them down. So you can see that they start to turn blue, or they turn green, or they turn red. When you do that, then you have to dash through them, and then that absorbs them into yourself. So this is kind of like taking the Mega Man ideals to a whole nother level, where in Mega Man you kill the bosses and you get their special powers, everything's good to go. In Beck, you kill every monster and then you absorb it into yourself. It's fairly cannibalistic, but it works. Alright, so what you see at the top of, well, it's not at the top of the screen, but at the top of Beck's head, these two circles. We have the red circle and the green circle. You get those by absorbing enemies that turn into those colors. And the red circle gives you like a charge shot, because unlike Mega Man, you can't charge your buster naturally. At least in this beta you can't. Maybe it's a power you get later, maybe it's something that they just haven't finished building in. And I had a tendency to die a whole lot when I was playing this game, so just bear with me, alright? So what it does is it makes it a charge shot. That charge shot also pierces walls, pierces boxes, and will pierce enemies as long as they don't have a shield up. Blue is just points, and green gives you a higher mobility. So if you get a green monster, then you're going to move around a bit. You can see there's still some glitches in here. I was hanging on the side of that box before I blew it up. So when it went away, I was still hanging on the side of the box. Kinda cool, but it's also the kind of thing that I'm going to send the production team a message about. Okay, much like in Mega Man, spikes still kill you, and this is no good. Okay? What you saw me doing there is because I picked up the red power-up from one of the earlier enemies, I can shoot through the walls. So I'd kill the enemy, dash through it, so I would then pick it up without having to fight it on the other side, kill the other monster, and then dash through again. Okay. Also, just a quick note about all of the text that you guys see scrolling by. It is naturally that fast, and there was nothing I could do to slow it down. I still don't know what most of it says. I'm going to go back after recording this video and probably read all of it so that I know what they're saying. I know one of the stretch goals that Inafune is working on is to get both English and Japanese voice actors. And if they do that, I think that'll take care of a lot of the problem. Obviously for most people, not everyone. If not, then they're definitely going to need to slow that down a lot so that if they want the text to be read, it can be. Alright, what you see here is at the top left of the screen there's this little purple circle. Those are your energy containers. You build those up by killing monsters. You can go into your start menu at any time and consume them. Everything is all fine and fancy then. Mostly, I prefer not to use those in legitimate playthroughs for Mega Man type games. But because this is for you guys, I thought you probably wouldn't want to see me die more or have to deal with, rough cuts as we go through the game. Alright, this screen right here killed me more times than probably anything else. Because you can't grab ladders if you're in the middle of a dash. Now you can vary your dash length by just letting up on the dash button, but it makes you go at least X amount of distance before it lets you, interact with the world around you again. You can see something very similar. For that first ladder, because it's such a short jump that we're making, I'm going to need to actually do a hop onto it. But whenever I get up to the second ladder, I'm gonna let him get through this first. There you go. See, so short hop accomplished. But for the second ladder, you're gonna see me actually dash and grab the damn thing, because you can get it to end at the right time. So timing for that is gonna be a whole, it's gonna be pretty important. So some dash is good, some dash is bad. Also, you'll see that they've added in secrets. I have no idea what these power-ups do, but darned if I didn't get the thing, right? Hey, so these pink things on the floor, landmines. For all intents and purposes, we're gonna see, lots of those over the course of the next couple rooms. More text that I have no idea what it says. Okay. So, in this area, they're giving you a lot of platforms. There's like a whole upper half of this room that I don't bother using because it doesn't seem like we need it. Right. More power-ups. Still have no idea what they do. But, that's kind of the point. The point is, they're these nifty things, they're in places, so they're definitely taking a lot of cues from, Megaman when they're looking at this. But they're also doing a lot of stuff that, Megaman doesn't do. In this game, you'll see me, hop up on things like I would hop on walls, but what you can do in this game is you can grab edges. But there is no, wall hopping, there's no wall sliding, and you're going to see that affect the way that I fight the boss that's coming up here. A lot of the mechanics that this guy has would be trivialized if you could just grab the walls. Because we can't, we have to do a lot more hopping and, control of the space than we would have otherwise. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and get through this last area. With more spikes, which, as I said earlier, in true Mega Man fashion, they just make you dead. Alright, so I cut out a lot of the boss fights here because I had to do it a handful of times. Now, this is where we get to see, normally there would be text there, I skipped it. It's a weird button to skip, it's not, your normal one, but this is not the point. So, with these fights, what they're doing, much how you have to absorb, normal enemies, you have to absorb these guys also. So every 25% of his health, he goes into that phase where, you can dash through him. At a certain point, he starts, getting a little crazy, and actually, this might be every 20%, it's something closer to 20%, but at Half-Life, he's going to bunker up, and he's going to shoot this thing, and you're going to see me just stop attacking him. Don't worry about that. There we go. So at this point, he's going to shoot a thing, it lodges into the wall, and then we just dodge it. It's a really slow attack. It's not a big deal. Okay, I say it's slow because I had to dodge it a handful of times, but either way. Okay, so as we finish up this boss fight, we're going to go ahead and finish up this review. I am more excited for this game than I've probably been for any video game for like the past 7, 8 years. Whenever the last Mega Man game came out, that was when my hype train really kind of ended for a lot of things. So this beta looks really promising. There are a couple flaws that I'm pretty sure they're going to fix up. I have a lot of confidence in Inafune and his team, and much like the game, our mission with this is complete. And I'll see you guys next time for more Mighty No. 9 as they release it to us.